welcome to Unlimited Real Works, the currently named Video Game Choo Choo podcast about anime. God, I don't even, Yeah, this is gonna come out by the time that we're still called that. So, okay. God, it's such a weird thing. There's a good chance that a good amount of you listening to this will know the new name of our website. So there you go. I'm just that is how I'm going to tackle that. It is a weird time to be doing stuff still for the site. I'm John. Rose is out. Send her some well wishes. We hope you feel better soon, Rose. But with me this week is Elvie.
Hello.
Elvie, hello. Yes. As also Maverick is here.
Hey, what's up?
We're here. I'm good to talk about some anime. We've got quite a bit going on. God, I have no idea how to host an anime podcast anymore. I'm just sitting here and just what are we doing? What's going on?
Try not to think about games. Try not to think about games.
Yeah, no, exactly right now I'm just oh man, Xenoblade. Close enough. No,
Close enough.
Yeah. We've got a lot of stuff to go over, though, because it's been a pretty good season overall, honestly. It's wild. I feel like when we went over what we were watching, it was a bit more restrained, and now I'm just looking at this, and I'm just oh, I'm watching... Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I'm watching 7 shows this season. That's a lot. Especially for me. And I mean, I know that both of y'all are watching quite a bit too. So I guess we could just dig right into it here. I don't want to waste too much time. I want to just go ahead, hit some stuff. Maverick, do you want to start us off? Because you've been going for it lately. You've been pushing some stuff. You've gotten me to watch 2 separate shows just through your own talking.
That I have. I actually do want to hear your thoughts on those a little bit later, but
of course, yeah.
I think for me, I'll start with what I most recently caught up with, which was Dead Mount Dead Play. I talked a bit about the first episode last episode of the podcast, and since then, it's been continuing. What I did not expect out of this show was how funny it was. The first episode is very self-serious and edgy in that, chuny way. I mean, Rose is watching this too, and I know she loves that chuny shit. I can appreciate and tolerate it. We all love the dancing grr gif, don't we, folks? That's the kind of level we're dealing with. But episode 2 immediately just goes into this style of slapstick that is just so charming in a way. Or the end of episode 1 is this big dramatic moment, and then when you get into episode 2, it's kind of just oh god, this is going on now. How do we deal with this? Oh man, does anyone have a healing spell? It's playing already on the fact that the setup is a necromancer taking over the corpse of someone that got taken out during a hit, and so they're trying to collect as much information as they can to figure out where they're at. A lot of not miscommunication in the way that you often see in say rom-coms, but just a lot of having to pick up on immediate beats between participants, and that leading to an agreement that sets up the rest of the show for the most part, or at least this inciting arc. And it's just really funny. It's not anything that'll blow your mind. I mean, the fact that one of the characters is this crime boss, so to say, and at the end of episode 2 or 3 is just her hanging out with her 2 girlfriends that are also hitmen. And then it's very it's played about it in the anime in a way where it's like, okay, here we all are in bed, uh, hanging out, like having a glass of champagne while we hear about the new kid, like getting his situation caught up. Then Rose shared that in the manga. There, it's like someone picking up a phone while the other two are like going at it, and it's like, wow. I shout out to women. Like it's just really funny that of all the things to include, it's like, oh no, like these are also just the polyamorous lesbians. It's fine. But yeah, it is the show that like I definitely didn't expect to be taken with, and now it's just a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, as it's like leaning into the absurdity of itself.
That's good. I'm glad that there's, good shows out there that are just leaning into the goofy, leaning into all that. I think another show that you're caught up on, but I'm not, is Magical Destroyers, that I think also is leaning into the goofy.
Yeah.
I've seen the first 2 episodes, and you've seen the third one as well.
I have,
and
yeah.
I'm pretty positive on it still after seeing the second episode. You seem a bit more restrained though. Is there anything you want to like go in on? Because again, I'm not fully caught up, so I can't really say too much. But what do you think?
Again, I think part of it is just seeing like the premise and already just thinking, all right, I need to just steel my nerves, because at any point, it's like I mentioned before, like any point this show could go off the rails about so many different things, because it's centering itself
Absolutely.
on this idea of being an otaku. But so far, and even in episode 3, it gets to a position where it is trying to mess around with stuff. Like, you're getting some cutaways, I think, to things happening in the middle of like this process, this process to quarantine the otaku, where we're getting into like, okay, why does Otaku Hero know the magical girls? What's going on? And at this point, we know all 3 of them: Anarchy, Blue, and Pink. I feel like I'm already getting tired of Pink's whole deal, because she just like does Pokemon noises, but with the syllables go and bow. And Blue just translates it. It's fine. Like, I don't know. It's like those layers where it's like there's just a like amount of bits going on where I'm like, all right, let me kind of just wait to see what else they'll be cooking with. But no, this third episode is really interesting. They had like one of their the like otaku protection. The government is like sending out now. It's like 4 Heavenly Kings or whatever, and the catch for this one in particular was that there's this guy that was like, the top general or whatever, but throughout the episode it's just hinting at the idea that like, oh, this is like a car otaku who like was buddies with one of the guys driving Itasha in Akihabara. They call them cringe mobiles in the dub I got.
Oh no!
And it's like, I get it. Like,
but and they do have a proper name, though. Yeah,
it's one of those rare cases where it's like, if we're already saying otaku, you can lean into Itasha. The people that are like watching this are gonna get it, so you wouldn't necessarily be losing much, but. Not like it's playing this idea like, oh man, like if you're such a bad guy, why are you like maneuvering around all the cars? You know all the road laws, and are like, this fandom is inside you. You got to let it out, because the whole bit is like, we want to make a world where you can like whatever you like, and it was fun. Like, it was never anything too like, I don't know, like it plays its hand, but. It was also just fun to go along and be like, oh, yeah, it's a good reminder that otaku in the original sense of the word does have more of an like expansive conceit to it. And so to expand it beyond just a guy who likes anime and manga, I think also helps the overall like the overall ethos, and I think that is helping as well to like shape what they're going for. I also just get a little bit worried if they are then going to go into like military otakuism because there's a whole sector there. But the big thing about this episode is that it introduces another magical girl who looks a lot like Anarchy. She's in the opening as well as sort of like obstructed. I thought that this was like the villain that is sort of like going around and like hanging out with the bad guys, but it seems to be somebody else. So not sure what's going on there. I guess like, I don't know, like there's some stuff in like the middle of it where it's like, oh, we're gonna tie up Otaku Hero. Oh man, he loves it when he's like getting fondled and stuff by these women, and it's like, sure, all right. There's some butt stuff in there.
All right.
And like nothing like offensive, honestly. It's more just like, okay, this joke's going on. I'm just gonna have to let the joke ride and then get to the next bit. Yeah, like if there are people that are like full on loving and gushing about this show or this episode in particular, I didn't really see it, but also it's good. Like it is still doing what like episode 1 prompted me for, and I think part of it based on like the imagery in the opening and the ending and sort of what they're going for, like I feel like this is a show that is going to end up similar in themes of like me, like this more critical lens of what otaku means and like how that does affect, you know, perceptions with other relationships. Like the foundation is there of like oh, you know, you can like what you like, but I think it's specifically Otaku Hero's relation to the 3 magical girls, because in episode 3 it's like literally he just gets a box of these girls sent to him,
Right.
and that's sort of like where we're at. Like if I had to infer anything from the ending as well, I might assume that these are like robots or like mass production something or other, you know what I mean? Because there's that aspect as well, that like to be an otaku is to be a consumer. Funnily enough, I did recently buy the book Otaku Japan's Database Animals. It was something that I've been meaning to get for a while. It's something that I've seen Hazel bring up in a few of her videos, and I'm curious to actually crack it open and start reading, because I think this not like is gonna unlock everything else, because like that's stupid, but I think it'll help to color in perception for, again, like a style of fanaticism that is always just so like foreign to me, and not just because of like the language barrier, like the way that fandom tends to exist here in the States also, like that level of dedication to something is always so weird, to say the least. But you know, there's definitely stuff that works, like visually, aesthetically, sonically. This anime is still hitting for me, and I'm just waiting to see what it does narratively, where maybe like that'll also be the additional push. But if it doesn't get there, I mean, again, 2 out of 3 isn't bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit of I just have a brain where I'm like, if it's goofy and colorful and tongue in cheek enough, I can look past some of the like dumb like anime horniness if it's like, you know, making like pretty alright jokes with it and there's still something like there underneath it. So I'm still like looking forward to watching more of it.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I'm still like I'm.
It reminds me a lot
watch
of like Fooly Cooly and, you know, like stuff of that era. And I know Fooly Cooly is definitely better than this, at least so far. But yeah, I don't know. I still enjoy it quite a bit. I'm gonna keep watching it. And yeah, I know you're not saying like, oh, it's bad. Like, but no, yeah, I'm prepared to continue.
Again, it's the fact that I haven't had my own One Direct priority that, like, if this is the one...
Yeah, it's gonna... Like, I totally get it, and I absolutely feel similarly to where it's like, I'm enjoying this right now, but maybe later I won't be, but... Yeah, I mean, that's part of being a critic, and that's part of, you know, watching something week to week, is like, you make your calls as you seize them, and then as things change, your opinion changes. I guess that's basically just what you gotta do.
Yeah, next week should be a tokusatsu theme, apparently.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Because one thing I do appreciate, the post ending, like the credits for like whatever the next episode is literally just like storyboard like scraps from whatever is coming up, which is neat. Like, again, there's enough going on that I see, like, genuine dedication put in. I'm also just really... What is it? The animation department is not necessarily the same as the writing department, and that I just have to, like, reckon with.
Elvie, let's hear from you. What's going on?
Oh my god, what is going on?
That's a charged question, but go ahead. Hit us with something.
Well, speaking of being critical about... I'm trying to figure out a transition. It's not... So, Dr. Stone is on its third season. We're on Dr. Stone New World, and I am going on this journey. I am continuing on this expedition where
Grand tour.
Where some of us have justifiably are taking care of themselves and decide not to further pursue this journey. So some time ago there was like a special, and it's basically a mid-quill. I think it's weird that they just decided to have this like one almost hour special, as opposed to just kind of fitting that in as an episode in a season or a core somewhere. But nonetheless, that was like necessary to watch so it's officially a mid-quill to kind of get to where we are. So Dr. Stone, we're gonna go to South America, and maybe, oh no, are we no, why are they bringing back Imperial? We don't have to do this. What's going on? Why are we? What's happening? Anyway, they basically the most recent character to circle back is this privileged wealthy boy. And they like needed him because he's a great sailor. So again, like their strategy of like unpetrifying people and freeing people from their stone prisons is now at this point of like, oh, okay, yeah, what skill set do they have? And that's kind of like expected, as like everyone has like an archetype or a certain skill they can contribute to like the group. And they, for some reason, were like, yeah, this dude, like, sucks. Like, he's... but he's all we got. And it's because, you know, one of the other characters who's a reporter, she was a reporter in her past life, you know, and she's someone who's now been, like, an informant on the, you know, the Kingdom Science side. He was the only person, for some reason, she could have thought of. And it's like, okay, I guess we're reviving a guy. And yeah, so far, like, you know... The mid-quill happened, and now we're actually in the season, so a couple episodes in, and he's just like, not helpful, outside the scope of, like, they ride a boat. Well, anyway, they already invented boats. You know, we're here. They've already kind of, like, figured out how to, like, travel across the different islands of Japan, I guess, to find what they need to do. They're in foraging mode. I think like, so I guess the point I'm getting, like, in the first episode of season 3, they, like, a quarter of the episode was like a Minecraft parody. This is like, oh shit, okay. I mean, I'm kind of into it. Like, they're just focusing on foraging and finding materials, trying to go back to the roots of, like, why all of us who initially started together watching the series back in the first season were like, oh, okay. They're, like, kind of breaking down things, like, in a grounded, rational, like, perspective, like, oh yeah, here are, like, legitimate survivalist skills, or here are legitimate DIY things you can actually probably safely emulate. Though the show, every episode's still consistent. They show, do not fucking emulate this at home. Do not emulate this at home. And, like, for a bit, like, in the first, they're, like, kind of doing that. And it was kind of cute. So, Taiju, which is, Senku's best friend, his little oaf himbo best friend, he finally had his moment again to shine for a bit. Again, like, biggest snub. Like, they were just, again, we were complaining in the last season, they were just gone.
They were.
For most of the series, when they, like, framed them in the beginning of season 1, I was like, oh, they're going to be important. They're going to be tertiary protagonists with Yuzuriya, the girl he likes, basically, like, and no, they were just disappeared. They faded into obscurity because I guess they were not useful for the fight and action sequences, even though they probably could have been. Anyway, they're just they're just the domesticated character. There's a lot of characters that this series has, like, we're going to keep adding them, and, and they're just all domesticated mode right now. They're just not really being used right now. So I don't even remember half of their names. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that guy. Like, what the fuck? Weren't you Magma? There you go. He's part of the regular cast now. Again, we've complained many times he's, like, a fucked up man. Why is this okay? Anyway, Taiju's like, oh yeah, I want to grow food. And this is where things start quickly going, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is Dr. Stone. Oh, yeah, okay. And he's like, I want to grow wheat, and we can make bread and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. It was like a great, they were explaining how to make bread and stuff, all that. Fun, like, fun times. Bizarrely poignant, given, like, bread making was a thing for a bit last year for everyone as a coping mechanism. And it just hit me, like, the way so they make bread, and the bread's, I need to go backwards. No, he figures out how to make wheat. He figures out how to grow wheat. And the wheat fucking grows within a couple of days. Anyway, the passage of time doesn't make sense. That's one thing. So, but the wheat just magically grows a couple days. But then they do the cool science thing where they explain, like, oh, you need proper fertilizer, you need proper soil. So they were comparing how different plots of wheat were not growing well. Like, Taiju brings out, like, oh, I crush, like, first, I think it was his uncle. He says, like, oh, I learned a trick where you have to crush shells, and if you put it in soil, it changes the pH level. It's like, oh, cool, we're back at this. We're explaining actual science here, which is, again, a legitimate thing, because they were planting an area that had, like, acidic soil. But anyway, yeah, the wheat just magically grows in a couple days, and they finally decide to make bread. And the bread fucking sucks. And I'm here realizing, oh my god, what do you mean they don't know how to make bread? What were these people decades eating? I like, it just hit me, like, back in season 2, they learned how to make ramen, like, out of, like, reeds and not new. What do you mean they forgot how to make products out of wheat? Again, like, it's the series is, like, 1,000 years after the Petric. Again, we're circling back. I have to keep circling back. Senku's fodder, again, adoptive fodder, as we have to go back into because they were afraid of an awkward incest. Anyway, Senku's adoptive fodder went to space with a crew of people, and they were spared from Earth being petrified. And then they end up landing back on Earth, and they end up repopulating this whole community of people that Senku and all the modern day people waking up are now meeting and interacting with. What do you mean they lost the knowledge of bread? That they did not know how to make bread all these years? The most basic as, not even like, so what if they don't have wheat? Okay, not even like a flat, like, bread. Like, flat breads can be made without yeast if they forgot how yeast works. How... And I think I remember Rose saying this as she was watching season 2 with me over, like, yeah, again, this general issue of like the logic just falls apart in a lot of ways of like how has so much like modern knowledge been lost when like these people were descended from contemporary, like what happened, like why was that not like if Senku's father was again the joke about if Senku's father was so smart, why wasn't he smart enough to like keep records of everything, and now everyone's just fucking regressed back to like antiquity, like prehistoric age. Anyway, yeah, they don't know how to fucking make bread, so then the solution was like, we gotta wake up a chef. What do you mean not a single person knows how to make bread or just knows how to, like okay, they decide to like oh shit, okay, and so they magically find Senku's like, we don't have enough like petrification fluid, we have to make more. Do Ex Machina. Suddenly we just have like a portion amount that someone saved or something. So then they go all the way to like the place where they woke up the sailor guy, the rich kid. His name is Nanami, or Ryusuke. I'm not sure like his last name. But anyway, he's like, oh, my butler. We should wake up my butler. My butler is the greatest cook or whatever. They wake up the butler. And the butler kind of does have a funny bit where they like pretty much wake up fully clothed. They're completely fine. They're like, oh shit, where's my master? You know what I mean? And that's pretty funny. But the most utter insane thing is that the butler is also okay. So I don't trust the series. Cannot be trusted with women, right? As I will further go into. The butler is a non-binary character, which is weird and unexpected because how they handle it, or at least they're implying they're like this is like
Look,
ambiguous.
I'm gonna say it right now. I finished that manga. Like,
what is going on? Yeah, but anyway, like I'm watching. Yeah,
that butler is non-binary because someone bothered to like add they in the subtitles. There is no actual like.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I mean. So
if you were reading that into the anime, it is because someone led you there. That manga gives
no. Someone tried to fix this. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean because the subtitles I'm watching. It keeps flip-flopping, and I'm like, oh, is this intent? Like, what is anyway? Okay, so of course, okay, so as concluded, the series cannot be trusted with gender.
Or I guess, yeah, it's like, oh, ambiguous gender. Literally nothing is made out of this. You do the food chapter, and then like, I know exactly where you are. And
yeah, you are the expert on this. You're as you've told me, you read the manga. You're like a far ahead up to the point.
I finished it, and then I memory holed
okay.
right after.
Oh shit! Okay. But yeah, again, just immediately in the first episode, just outs like a lot of problems that we've realized have been just showing up. But anyway, yeah, they keep moving on. They're like, okay, we're gonna do all these other things. We gotta make a boat. We gotta make a bigger boat to go to South America. And so they're like, oh shit, we gotta find oil. And in the process, they do find oil, whatever. They fucking make a motorboat, which is like, oh, okay, this is like a reasonable escalation. So, of like technology going here from there. But again, like the most insane thing where they just invented cell phones in season 2. Like, okay, they just invented cell phones. Now they like invented GPS. So they're using the cell phone tower they made in season 2 to make a GPS or like some sort of navigation system so they can go on the boat to go to South America. But yeah, they're like, oh yeah, this whole time we had a radio tower that that was built to, that's why our cell phones work, or like, whatever. And yeah, they're now gonna go to South America. But, while they were trying to find oil, they also made a camera, which, okay, also that's kind of believable. I believe that. But then they somehow found Mercury to develop the film for the This is within the first couple of episodes, which... It is all...
Again, like...
What is happening?
Where, from the minute that this starts... We have to just believe that my man Senku counted every single second.
But it's science. It's real. So this is the most apparent thing too within the Oh my god, they stopped explaining things. Again, the whole conceit of like why I think a lot of us are pulled with the series, as I was saying earlier, is like, oh, okay, they try to like rationalize how can you make these things in like a survivalist or like limited resource situation. And it's like, oh, okay, that's believable. They just at some point stopped explaining things. They stopped explaining. They barely explained how the camera's made. Like the whole thing about like, oh yeah, we like. Use the oil to make the speed boat, a motorized boat now. Like they don't even show that. They didn't show a cool montage showing how the boat got upgraded. You know what I mean?
Do
like they just
like
stopped explaining things, huh?
Do they show the idea web still though? Like the
they show the idea web.
Okay,
yes.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, like as because again, like technically this isn't like shown in the way that like it's customarily presented. Yeah, sure, it's doing something else, but at the same time it's like it treads its wheels a lot if you aren't getting like to the next arc that they're setting up. And then part of it, is like, oh, what are we gonna build today? Like the best thing out of this season so far, it wasn't even in this season, it was in the fucking OVA, was the old man getting dripped down.
The fashion show in season 2 was pretty good. I was like, oh shit, all right, okay. When they were trying to make contemporary clothes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, let's go. But yeah, like all the insane stuff powered by like, we got a goal. And then they like made 5, they like advanced sleeps. I realized after like just like watching this like, batch of episodes, it's like a 4X like strategy civilization building where they're like prioritizing things that don't make sense at all in the order of how the progression of technology is. Like, oh, do I gotta like make my archers first, or do I gotta make like gold for it's like what resources are we building speed running to make first because we don't want to get in danger, or like we have a certain skill, like victory ending we want to accomplish in Civilization 5 or so, you know what I mean? It feels like that. And seeing that like just go is so insane. That said, I think like I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna accept this. This is absurd. This is not this is not what any of us anticipated. And yeah, there's like all the mealy stuff about like how the biggest thing I noticed too is like on the boat, not a single of all the female characters are suddenly now useless. Like what happened? Like what happened to all the baddies that were like kicking ass, flying, doing acrobat? Kohaku is just not doing anything right now. Why is she not on the boat with them? She is like a combat. There's only guys on the boat to go to set. Why are we leaving all the women behind? What is going on? Like, again, everyone is domesticated all of a sudden. And all of these characters we recruited are not really doing anything right now. And I'm sure that will change because now we have cell phones, I guess, to like long distance communicate for help. But like, yeah, it's like, it's like everyone was just pushed aside. And it's like, what was all that for? The thing pulling me into and keeping me as well is like the conceit of like what the petrification event is. And I think that's pretty cool and interesting because I think the theories I had was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense why they're probably going back to space at some point, right? That makes sense that the end goal Senku wants to do is make a satellite. I mean, they already made GPS in like 2 days. I think they might make it in a week, right? They might make a satellite in a week.
Again, you're at a part where it's like I was still at least reading weekly, and then a little bit after this is when it's kind of just like
it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
After a little bit after this point, and maybe like where the anime is going to end for this season is where it was just all right, time to just look at the pictures each week. I'm not even going to bother caring about this plot. Which is
just absorb.
It's how I'm currently watching or reading My Hero Academia.
Oh God! Oh, that's a double.
Here's the thing, though. Horikoshi knows how to make some pretty decent spreads.
Yes. No, excellent artwork.
Boichi, his art is demented.
Yeah. Again, how the women are drawn sometimes are just like, what is going on there? But again, he also used to do porn. I think probably still concurrently does. But it's like, no, dog, no.
There's
a girl
does not look. I know is coming up, and I am very eager to know your thoughts on it. Okay,
but is it something? Is it as deranged as them pouring the medicine on the sick girl like it was cum bad?
Not that bad, but it definitely again, like, it gets close to what like your core gripe is with this show.
No. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Different gripe. But yeah, I am very much interested with what's going on with what they're implying with how the petrification happened. But insane show. Suika is still the best character. She's still good. She still has that melon on her head. She's living her life. They recruited a boar, which I may never see again. But at least they did not kill the boar at the end. And did not eat the boar. Very cute. She has a dog, which they like used once. And I'm like, what? When did she get a dog? And I looked it up, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, that is Dr. Stone. It is getting increasingly unhinged and less and less believable as it already has been further distant from actual science. But again, respect that they still keep that disclaimer at the end. Please do not emulate what these characters are doing. Yes, absolutely do not. And the music of the show still bangers. I regardless of my gripes with the show, I think we've agreed that the songs, the theme songs, both OP and endings are pretty good every season. They get you pumped up.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. I have no idea what the ones for this season are. But yeah, I'm sure it's still fine. Like, I've yet to see an opening and ending this season specifically that has been like bad across the board.
For sure. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna do two things here because one of them is something that I've been wanting to talk about since last time. The other one is something that I don't want to talk about, but I have to. So, all right. So let's start with the awful one. If you may recall, look, I don't even we weren't even doing this podcast back then. I don't think, like 7 years ago, when like the Chooch Discord server first started up.
When Discord
we decided,
was starting up?
I guess, yeah, when Discord started up, yeah. Ancient times. We got this notion to watch a shitty anime that season because we thought it would be funny. And we chose In Another World with My Smartphone. And it was horrible. And it was funny to make fun of. But it was terrible and bad. And the people who made it should feel ashamed. And so after watching that first season, we sat there and thought we would be safe. There is no longer going to be any more after this. You know, and as time went on, our safety felt more assured. Because, you know, usually anime, if they're going to have a sequel, they announce it pretty quick after that. You know, they're like, oh yeah, no, it's like a year later, season 2's coming up. That sort of deal. As the years went on, our safety was more and more assured. But then, 7 years later, an announcement that rocked the nation. They are making a second season of In Another World with My Smartphone. And I don't know why. I don't know who is asking for this. Like,
some pervert.
Like, here's the thing. Even if you're still into isekai stuff, if you're into cheapo, easy, bland isekai stuff, there is so much of that now. There is so much of it, you could not possibly absorb all of it in one lifetime. And to see them be like, well, we need more. And we're going to make a sequel to In Another World with My Smartphone, which is like the most bland, the most just boring, nothing show. The show where this guy gets married to like 7 or 8 underage girls and doesn't even use his fucking phone. It's insane. It is who the fuck wanted more of this? You say perverts. I say I would think that perverts have more, like, that they're a little bit more discerning. Like, I do not want to meet the kind of people who were looking forward to this and waiting for it and are excited to watch more. They are people who just drink water without any ice and, you know, like, and dirt. Like, that is just, they are just the most bland people, but they're also sickos at the same time. It's like, I think you should go to, like, I don't even want to say that they should go to jail, because they'll probably be like, yes, staring at a wall, yes, you know, like, it's bad. So I'm watching this show. We are 3 episodes in to the new season, and my eyes have been glazing over a lot as we watch it. Like, they introduced this new premise where, because there cannot actually be any conflict in this world, there is now just a place he can go to where he can just replicate anything. He just shows up and he's just like, yeah, okay, I invented a bicycle, and now I have cloned 1 million bicycles, and now they're selling them.
The most, like, impactful thing, I was watching some of these episodes with you because I decided to feel pain for a little bit. The most,
of course,
like, the most he ever contributes to society is when he's able to buy books for Fujoshi.
Yeah, the best episode, which is not saying much. The best episode is one where he decides that he wants to open up, like, a library cafe, because he rescued some... see, again, it's hard for me to remember because my brain doesn't want me to remember too much about this show, or else I'll die. But he, like, rescues some, like, slaves, or, like, just, like, rescues, like, a band of travelers who are in danger. I don't remember exactly. But he basically just goes like, yeah, here, come to the town that I'm in, and you can work there, and you can live there. Which, like, sure. And so then he goes, well, I'm gonna make this cafe, a library cafe. Which, again, like, to point out how boring this show is, like, even, like, okay, if this were any other isekai, he would be like, oh, it'd be a manga cafe because I'm an otaku, and it's like, sure, that's not interesting, but, like, just the fact that there's, like, a layer underneath that where it's more boring, that he's just like, it's just a library, it is just whatever books, you know, people like to read, like, no personality at all. Like, we've gone below the most generic personality, and we are at the 0 personality. See, so like the women of the town basically just ask him, like, please pick us up all the yaoi books, all the boys love books, and then he goes to, like, another town and buys a bunch of it, and there's an author living there. He, like, runs into an author who's, like, writing a bunch of the books, and, you know, like, there's just, like, a repertoire thing going on, and there's the slightest hint of conflict, because the author he meets wants to buy the last copy of, like, one of the books that, like, you know, everyone's waiting for, and it's like, oh, you know, he's gonna have to, you know, figure out how to make her happy and all the women in the back of the town happy. Like, what's the answer? And the answer is, of course, that he just uses the replicator, because he's overpowered. He has everything available to him. He can do whatever he wants. And that's it. Like, oh, it looks like someone's in danger of falling from a very far, like off a cliff. Oh, don't worry. He has an ability that just teleports them wherever. Oh, this person has an incurable disease. Oh, don't worry. His magic, like, medicine abilities are so high up that there's nothing he can't cure. Like, it's all just 0 conflict. Everything is solved immediately. The only thing all the women are talking about is, oh no, hey, what panties am I wearing? he's so cool because he's solving all the problems. It's dreadful. It is completely and utterly dreadful. And yeah, like it is a thing where it's just like we just gotta we're watching it because it's tradition. I guess, you know, like
The half-hearted acceptance of tradition.
I'm
I don't know
so
what we're
sorry.
doing. It's completely and totally dreadful, you know. It's really bad.
Feels bad.
Yeah. So the good things. The good thing I want to talk about. I've been getting a little bit more into manga recently, just because I found a really good manga app for Android. That just makes it very easy to read stuff. So I have been reading the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga, as well as another manga that's coming out in Japan called OCG Structures. So I guess I'll go over the original first. So yes, so the original, like, it is a classic for a reason, you know? Like, it is just a good, interesting story. Like, I watched the anime as a kid, so I remember a lot of the plot. You know, like, none of this is surprising, but it's just good characterization. You know, like, Yugi and Joey, or Jonichi, however you want to say it, are just good, strong, developed characters. Like, seeing them interact and seeing, like, Yugi and his abilities and his relationship with his other side, Atem, once you know the truth later on. Just all that stuff, like, unfolding, and it's so, you know, there's the whole, like, everyone talking about, oh, season 0 is so dark, and, you know, everyone's getting fucked up, and it's even Yugi's evil and all that, and it's just like, the thing that I appreciate the most, like, the thing that the early parts of the manga made me appreciate the most, honestly, was Kaiba. Like, I've always been a Kaiba fan. Like, Kaiba is a hilarious villain, like, one of the classics of anime rivals, you know? Like, he is, like, up there with, like, Vegeta, you know? He's just such a shithead. But watching his character development from his introduction in the manga, where he is just like he's originally introduced just as a one of the villains of the week. Like, he's just straight up like, oh, hey, like, because the original version of the manga is every chapter is just Yugi plays a different game with people, and there's a villain, and he punishes them using that game. And so they came up with dual monsters for the Kaiba chapter, and that just blew up, and they, you know, brought Kaiba back for like an arc where they go through, like, this evil, like, theme park that Kaiba made. And there's just, you know, they start to sprinkle in a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. Like, they introduce Mokuba, and they're like, yeah, he's Kaiba's little brother trying to get revenge. And then they do the theme park arc, and that whole thing is just like, yeah, like, Kaiba's using it as revenge against Yugi, but then they're just like, well, you know, he hates Yugi and he wants to get one up over him, but, you know, he's got a lot of baggage because he was an orphan, and him and Mokuba were, you know, had like a rough childhood, and Kaiba wants to use this theme, like, he wants to get revenge on Yugi. He wants to be evil, but also, once he's done with his revenge, he wants to just open this theme park up to poor kids and let them, like, play there whenever they want. Like, he's just gonna take out all the death parts and then just be like, all right, kids, it's safe to play now. Like, here you go. But then, you know, there's the famous scene where Yugi does, like, the mind crush, and Yugi's like, Yugi puts him in a fucking coma, and he just straight up goes, Kaiba will wake up once he understands what is missing from his heart. And even later on in Duelist Kingdom, like, Kaiba is in that coma until he realizes, like, Mokuba's gone, and Mokuba's really important to me. And I think they just do a really good job of, like, developing Kaiba into an actual character. Like, he starts out as just this goofy villain of the week, and then they just turn him into an actual rival, an actual character that you care about, someone that you're kind of rooting for, even though he's doing all these shitty things. Like he's this like awful capitalist dickbag who underneath it all is just like, I want people to have the childhood that I didn't have. I want Mokuba to be happy. I want I want there to be a better world for people who are like me, but also, God, I want to duel against this one guy. Oh man, I want to whoop his ass. Like, it's just, it's so much fun. And, I mean, I would recommend people read it. I will say that the early chapters, there is like a little bit of rough stuff here and there. Like there is, like, they don't treat Taya/Anzu very well at all in like the whole series. But early on there's some real stuff in there. And then there's during the evil theme park arc, like they introduce like Tristan's like little nephew or something, and he's like a toddler, and he's extremely horny. Like he's just constantly talking about how into Taya he is, and it's like one of the worst things I've ever read. And I'm just like sitting there like, the rest of this is really good, but like, bro, what's going on here, dude? Like, please remove this character forever. And then yeah, of course he never shows up again. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where like as the series progresses, it more feels like it feels less like, oh, they don't care about women at times, and more just like they focus more on these specific hero characters, and they leave like everyone else in the dust. Because like Mai is in Duelist Kingdom, like Mai in Duelist Kingdom is really good. Like I think she's actually like a really fun, well-written character, and like her whole arc of like accepting that she doesn't need to be alone, and she can, be a successful duelist and, grow while also like having like friends and not isolating herself. It's a good story. Like I really like her in Duelist Kingdom, but I just feel like at a certain point they were just like, we have no idea what to do with people who aren't like gonna win every duel. Like Tristan's not a duelist. He's not important at all in the whole series. I like when I see that, I'm just like, I don't think that like they were just sitting there like, oh man, I don't know how to write women. It's just like, I don't know how to rate anyone who isn't a duelist. Like that's just kind of what it feels like. And I mean, like they kind of like, again, like I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm like a little ways into Battle City, but like from what I remember as a kid, it was like, yeah, like Mai gets fucked up near the end, but then I'm just like, but Joey also does too. Like everyone just gets really fucked up. Like Merrick just fucks everybody up, and then Yugi stops him. Like that was like, so I'm just kind of like, like I think there's some equal opportunity getting your ass whipped here. Like I'm not gonna say that like I think Kazuki Takahashi was like great at writing women, but like, I still think that some of these characters have some merit to them. Especially, yeah, like I definitely feel like Mai is a standout in Duelist Kingdom. Like I don't remember her being like very memorable in the anime, but like her whole arc in that section was really, really good. So I would recommend like checking it out just for that, even just to like read through. So I would recommend reading through the manga even if you have watched Yu-Gi-Oh previously. There are like a good amount of changes even in the stuff that like got released by 4Kids over here, like not just like the 4Kids censorship, just like the actual story is different enough that I think it is worth reading. It's just it's cool. It's really cool to just have something like that to look through, during downtime and all that. And then real quick, the other manga is OCG Structures, which is a bit of a weird one. I'll try to explain it. So the manga is basically just them very specifically trying to like highlight current decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it is very specifically like, yeah, this is the stuff that people are playing right now in real life in Japan. So OCG is the original card game, which is what they call it in Japan. Over here it's the TCG. So that's like how they differentiate it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But it's just it's funny because like it's just these characters having like very realistic duels. But it's especially funny because the way that Yu-Gi-Oh is now, they have to cut out so much of like them setting up their boards. And it's just so funny because yeah, like they'll have like, you know, if you're watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh or something, there will be a scene where someone will be like, I drew the right card, and then they play it, and then that card will be like the card that they play, and it gets them forward and all that. Well, in structures, they'll be like, I drew the right card, and then you turn the page, and their board is just completely filled with like 4 monsters, and they have like a bunch of and it's just like, yeah, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh is, you know, like one card can bring out like 4 monsters, and that's what you have to do in order to win. And I think they do a good job of like showing what needs to be shown, like the actual like interactive parts of Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like, yeah, here's like the board is made, here's how the other person breaks their board apart. Like they do a really good job of showcasing what is cool about current Yu-Gi-Oh without sitting there and being like, okay, we're gonna watch this guy combo off for 15 minutes. But then it's especially funny because, yeah, you know, there's not an official release of this over here, so it is scanlated. But like at the end of each chapter in the scans, they just the scanlators will just straight up list all of the moves that they had to have taken to make that board, which is really funny. Just like seeing at the end of this chapter, yeah, at the end of each chapter, like, oh, there's another like 5 pages after this because they have to write out all of the moves that each character did, like off screen, basically. Just like they special summoned this, and then they played this card, and then they did play this, and then they were able to link summon this, and it just yada, like, it's so funny. But it's just especially funny too because all this stuff is so concurrent that like I have played against or as some of these decks. Like, there's a chapter where a guy uses an Eldritch deck, and I played Eldritch for a hot minute. And I was just like, yeah, like, I know this play. This is what I would do, too. Like, this is the exact setup. Like, I've played against this deck, and this is exactly what they did against me. I didn't break their board, though, because my deck isn't as good. So, you know, I just lost. But it's just, like, super cool just to be able to be like, I know how this works. And this is a good representation of it, and it's, you know, it's very basic. It is very, like, bare bones, just they want to win against each other. But I think it's a good highlight of what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! A fun game still, and it made me be like, man, I do want to play again. And I'm hoping that I can play again, because, you know, I don't want to go up against, like, the super high-level stuff, but I did see that they might start doing, these leagues called Heart of the Underdog leagues, which are basically just low power level, stuff, which, that pretty much means I'm gonna get in on that, because, you know, like, my stuff isn't, like, super bad, but, you know, I want to play my zombies, and I don't want to have all my fucking field zones locked, and have everything destroyed, and, you know, all that stuff. Like, I want to have some back and forth, and I think that'll be what Heart of the Underdog does. So I want to do that. I want to do that. I'm ready. I'm in a Yu-Gi-Oh mood extremely. I want to duel.
Let my man duel.
Let me duel.
Let him use the guy that yells.
The guy that yells?
That card that's just like the yelling.
The Bark of Dark Ruler. Yeah, I mean, that is one of my favorite card arts, but I will probably not use that card. It is not very good.
Oh, what? That's my man just going, let's fucking go.
It is very good, though. I did just post the Discord emote that I have of that card, because it's very good.
Really good.
But yeah, I would say, like, I would recommend the original actual Yu-Gi-Oh manga to pretty much anybody. You know, like, it is just a good story.
I did actually want to point out, because I just realized, oh yeah, this is something that technically did come out in Jump. So like, if you have the app, you can probably get it there as well.
That's right.
But because of the way that the manga itself has sort of like, again, like you mentioned the delineation between like the original
Right.
like dark game setup and then the transition into Duel Monsters. In the app, it's actually split up between Yu-Gi-Oh as what it is, like those first 7
Which
volumes.
Yeah, that's the original, like, quote unquote season 0 stuff. And then they did Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist, which is like Duelist Kingdom and Battle City. And then they have Millennium World, which is like the last bit of it, basically.
And then there's also Yu-Gi-Oh! R, which is a spin-off manga.
Yeah. Which I don't know. Yeah, that I don't think is like canon or whatever.
Yeah, no, like I just like was futzing around. And it's like the first chapter. It's like Battle City, Yu-Gi-Oh versus America. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty deep in there.
And there's also that Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of Dimensions movie, which is not which is canon, but it is specifically not. I don't if I remember correctly, it is not an epilogue to the anime. I think it is specifically like an epilogue to the manga. Like they made a movie that is just an ending to the like an extra epilogue to the manga.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which I might have to look into how true that is. Like the only like big major thing that is different, and little spoilers here for everybody. In the manga, Pegasus gets murked. Pegasus is dead at the end of Duelist Kingdom. Fucking Bakura just shows up, like evil Bakura just rips the Millennium Eye out of his head and kills him, which in the anime does not happen. Which I mean, I could take or leave either one. Like I think it's crazy that they just kill Pegasus in the manga, but also like Pegasus is so fucking good, and so I just like having him around. Like he shows up in like GX and just like kicks the shit out of the like school like two of the professors at once, and it is such a good duel because it's just a 2 against 1 duel, and Pegasus just cleans them. So, you know, I like having him around, but there's also just like that big like stakes thing where it's just like, oh yeah, no, here's the main villain of the manga for like multiple volumes, and he's just dead now because Bakura killed him. Like, you know, like what does that mean for the story? But you know, it's good. It's very good. Please check it out if you want. Here, Maverick, tell us about something else. Tell us about the 2 sweeps that have gone on. What are the 2 big things that have hit you real hard lately?
I mean, as they continue to Skip and Loafer, we're just let me get the GIF out. We cock dick bawling at Skip and Loafer. No, it continues to be good. Like, it is just a very faithful adaptation in the way where it essentially knows how to utilize motion to just accentuate a lot of the stuff that already is hitting in the manga itself. And it's good. Like, when a manga is already at such a high level, for the anime to then be able to like take that and run with it, so that it still feels just fresh and interesting, that does the soul good. I really appreciate that. And yeah, like there's some stuff that you probably John, you've actually been able to get to the first 2 episodes, and so
I have.
I'm up to episode 4 now, I want to say, and you know, they're setting stuff up. This is stuff that gets developed further in the manga. Yeah, I do not expect it to be things that come up in this season in particular, but we'll see. But overall, it does a good job of just really highlighting some, like, again, highlighting just what already works in one format and make it more engaging. Like, there's a scene where Mitsumi tries a Starbucks drink for the first time. I think this is like episode 3. And comedically, it already works because there's just like the panel of the reaction next to the panel of just like the initial taste, and it's like a night and day difference. Here, they still mimic that, but then also it like works. Like, it still manages to work and like keep the energy. Especially thanks to Mitsumi's Seiyu, who is really killing it so far with just, like, figuring out the right timbre for this character, who is, like, Oomphy certified, but then also, like, still rough around the edges. Like, the choice to personify her to an extent, or not personify, but, like, to, have her sort of like related to this mascot concept of like a frumpy little cat is so hilarious, but it also just works for what she like represents overall. And then Sosuke is also just sweet boy, good boy. It's all fun. It's all good. And similarly, or I guess in a different kind of energy, Oshinoko is really just swinging for the fences. Like, you already had the hour and a half long premiere, and in episode 2, we're going right into the meat of what like is setting up this first section of the story. Which, again, I think it's like still pacing it still fairly well. It's just really this is all stuff that I ended up seeing like come up in like the first volume or so, and so I think it's a really good call to really get the action going. Or no, wait. First volume was just that initial like 90-minute pilot, and from there we are just going, but the speed is, like, understandable.
Yeah, I also started watching it. I've only watched the first feature-length episode. God. No, yeah, you are absolutely right that they had to do that first bit the way that they did, because I probably would have gotten turned off from it from just that first, like, 20 or so minutes, but then just going past that and seeing that it all feels like it was worth it, just, like, it is this, like, kind of strained intro that just keeps going and layers upon itself, and then it's so, like, it just becomes something that is worth the crazy, worth the effort of what they created. It is just so nuts, and they did it. They somehow pulled it off, and again, like, you need to get past that first little bit and absorb this entire like all these inciting incidents to create this story that is worth watching and is it's fucking bonkers, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, again, like I do need to actually start reading more of the manga itself. I'm a few chapters ahead of what they're currently adapting, and so far, yeah, just there's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening with Aqua. I've heard later on Ruby gets a lot of her own material that is really just going to highlight her, but like it's good to see something that is just going for absurdity, but in a way that is like unabashed. And the more that I hear about it, it just keeps going. Like, the general consensus is like, oh, you have not seen anything yet, which I'm eager. I'm ready to see what that could entail.
Definitely want to see more, for sure, for sure, for sure. Elvie, hit us with some more stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's hear some more.
I might hit a two for one punch here.
Go for it.
So I've been stuck also in a kind of limbo between last season and trying to finally watch new things as I had with Dr. Stoner, right? And other things as well. But as I've said, like in our previous episode, I've used VRV a lot, and that's being sunsetted in May. However, the app just stopped working. Like it's just broken now. It's not usable. It's like gone from platforms. It's like, oh shit, okay. Like even though fuck me, like there's no time window to still use it until then. So anyway, so it's been hard to kind of like catch up with things as a result of that. But I don't know if it's correct to say like a bunch, but it's bizarrely timely that we have new Ancient Magus Bride, and there's been a couple of what I would call off-brand Magus Bride series that have been propping up last season, and then one this season. I would say the latter is actually not off-brand. It's actually good in its own accord. But right, for last season, I finally finished Tale of Outcast, which right, in essence, I've described as basically I feel like it was trying to be like Fate. So you have a character who's handling kind of like this otherworldly character, and there's some bigger conspiracy for some war. Some apocalyptic war, and someone will game it. Anyway, this girl who's treated shittily, just to revisit the summary of what Tale of Outcast. This girl who's just had a shitty life. She's being mistreated, and she basically makes a pact with a demon to like, hey, get me out of here. Well, it was amicable. He's like, I feel bad for her, whatever. But then, to make a pact with a demon, like, you have to sacrifice something. So she sacrificed her sight. Right. And we're going through the series, right? And like they keep forgetting that. They keep forgetting she's blind, the main character, which is very funny to me. So it's like, what was the point of that? What was the point of they keep forgetting she's blind. She like her which I guess doesn't help because again, this series is not animated well. The production quality is not that great. It's fine, but it looks really dated. It looks like something out of like 2000s era of like a lot of anime still like digital software, scary. We don't know what they're doing here. Anyway, like it felt like halfway through the series. So this is a finished series. This is based on a manga. It's a finished series. So I'm not sure if there's going to be another season of this, or I'm not sure if this is actually how the manga ended. I wouldn't be surprised. But they basically like accomplished a lot of tentpole things you would expect. Like, so again, her brother was a demon hunter. Oh no, that's a conflict of interest. And they fight, and then he's fine. It's like, oh, okay, demon guy, just watch my sister, but I'm keeping my eye on you. And then it gets like convoluted for no reason, and they try to wrap it up so poorly because they got like 5 episodes left. We're halfway through. Her demon hunter brother disappears. She's like, I gotta find him. So mind you, they're like in England. They're like in some like when it, like they love this time period in England. They love like the weird like 18th century. What time period? I don't even know what time period Black Butler took place. I would be surprised if this whole time we've been baited and Black Butler actually takes place because nothing in that series makes sense. Anyway, she's like, I gotta find my demon hunter brother. Where did he go? And I'm like, I feel like there was a missing episode. The last episode he was fine, but there's a whole ass episode that was missing here that they just decided not to fill in the details of like her brother's arc and like what he was going. He like after his encounter and reuniting with her, he's like, oh okay, he's doing off his own thing. But yeah, anyway, she's like, we gotta find him, and they decide we gotta find Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is real in this universe, but I mean, demons are too, so anything can happen. It's so silly. So they're like, oh, we gotta go to Baker Street. They go to Baker Street. They do we gotta find Sherlock Holmes. So what is going on? You gotta find him. He's the only one who can help us. I mean, fair. Like, she has a pact with a demon. They can't trust the cops at this point. They can't. Everyone's coming for them. And yeah, of course, like they're attracting all sorts of attention, right? Like, oh, like the demons are not happy that like their pact seems to be like, this isn't following the demon rules, right? Again, like, or like, and again, any other demon hunters are like, this is a weird pair. We got to follow them and figure out what's going on, But anyway, they're trying to find Sherlock Holmes. She like, gets almost like, again, like this character is like, sometimes she's a damsel in distress. Sometimes she doesn't feel like being anyway, they instead run into, Dr. Watson, John Watson. They didn't find Sherlock. And, again, they run into a whole demon fight, whatever. John Watson, and this is where, okay, John Watson Sherlock Holmes are real. John Watson was a veteran in, like, the British-Afghanistan war in, like, 1860s. They open up the subplot of, like, the British-Afghan, like, what is going, so and they use that as, like, a way to introduce a new character, in this, who again, so anyway, throughout the series, they've been meeting other characters who are, like, humans, who have a pact with, and it's, like, interesting, like, they're exploring different dynamics, like, oh, this person made a pact, like, even though she was, like, a wealthy, noble person, she actually wasn't happy to, like, oh, this person is, like, oh, they were, making, they're all exploring different reasons why they made this pact. So then, they met John Watson, which leads into the introduction of this, like, veteran who made a pact with a demon because, like, after recovering from the, so, yeah, it just suddenly gets all serious about, like, yeah, he had PTSD recovering from the war, and he felt listless in life, and he's just someone who like decided to make a pact with a demon because he's like, oh, I have nothing better to. Yeah, he basically ends up becoming like, whoa, secret, the plot twist antagonist because he's, but it was just so strange. It was just like they were just throwing all these like, and it's not anachronism, right? But it's just very bizarre, like details of this world that are like not in conflict with each other, but just don't tonally feel right. But anyway, they do find Sherlock Holmes, and of course he doesn't help. The fun fact is that the save for their version of Sherlock Holmes is the same Sherlock Holmes in the Moriarty series that Rose and I watched a couple of seasons ago.
Oh boy!
Anyway, bizarre. Sherlock Holmes is in this series, and he's absolutely useless. Anyway, the ending, like, of this series is that they kind of enter, like, they enter a baby holy war. Again, like, the series so badly wants to be Fate and Maga's Bride, and like, combines all those things. And it just ends, and they're like, okay, like, I don't know, yeah, they fight the veteran guy. They fight, like, he's losing his mind, whatever, he's like, whatever. They resolve all that, and everything is good, and then it basically ends on an open ending of like, yeah, we're going to continue on our journey to find this relic. Like, what? Where do you very strange series. I feel like it was meant to be something bigger, but the world building is, like, not good. Like, yeah, it's not good. Like, again, it has all these elements of, like, other series that do other things better. And so it just kind of falls flat as a result. We have Ancient Magic's Bride at Home. Yeah, I feel like I remember talking about this series and mentioning like, oh, there's like a lot of things about this series too that feels like I've like, oh, these are things that I would think would be fun if I saw this like 10 years ago. But there's so much better series of like the same vein. The what I would call the Beauty and the Beast genre of series.
Right.
That like it just felt very cheap. And again, there was like a lot of laughably weird edgy moments that really wanted to sell it. Like the violence in the series was insane. They run into like a character that is basically like a character that would exist in a Dark Souls situation. Like, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the series anymore. It was not good. I don't know if it will continue from there. But on the other hand, there was another series that's actually a new series this season, called The Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. And this is more like, so this starts off more similar to Ancient Magic's Bride. So it starts from the get-go that this girl is being given away into some horrible situation. But in this case, she is being sacrificed to this beast king. In this world, there's the land of the beast, and then there's land of humans. And there was some war that happened, a couple, like, whatever, and it ended. And they basically have a resolve that they agreed between the humans and the beast that they will sacrifice a human every so often to keep the peace. Like, that's the contractual post-war agreement, apparently. Because that makes the most sense, I guess, for some reason. So they've been doing that, and then this girl is the main character, where they're doing it at this time. So they go there, you know, and yeah, she first of all, her character is kind of annoying. She's that sort of character who's like the spunky, like, female, like I don't know best way to describe it. Like, again, this feels, when I saw this felt very closely to, like, yeah, the Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Like, oh, Belle can take the Beast's anger. She's spunky. She can, you know, she's that sort of character where she's not taking a shit, so he can't hurt her. It's like, what is okay? And yeah, she quickly and yeah, basically charming the titular Beast character. She calls him, like, Leo, basically, because he looks like a lion. Again, his design too is very similar to the Beauty and the Beast character, where it's like has a lot of lion qualities to him. You know, and she kind of is, like, very kind to him. She's, like, very genuinely kind to him, and, you know, of course, he softens up. This is a shoujo. This is explicitly categorized as a shoujo, and
right.
And then she quickly finds out, like, oh, it's all a front. He's just putting on, like, a facade that he's mean and aggressive because he's, like, the king of, like, the beast, and of all the monsters, essentially. They're basically just all monsters because they're all different sorts of creatures. She quickly finds out that, like, you know, she's staying there for a bit. They're treating her. It's like a whole ritual. And then the day she gets sacrificed, or is supposed to get sacrificed, one of, like, the royal court members tries to, like, pull a tyranny move on him. They were trying, like, you know, it's like, oh shit. And, you know, they were trying to do a swap where he's like, oh, okay, I'll be in your place to the girl and I'll kill the king and you'll be fine. And it's like, whoa, okay. But then it turns out that, you know, and they subdue that. They shut down the situation. But it turns out that the sacrifices were never actually happening. So whenever someone gets sent to this castle, Leo actually ends up turning secretly helps the person escape. But in order to leave evidence, he actually hurts himself, so he would bleed on the dungeon floor. No. And I know, so we're like, oh my gosh, so and of course, plot twist, because we need a baby girl in this series. We're in the baby girl era. It's not even Bashonen anymore. We just have baby girls, right? He turns human at night, and he reveals to her, "Oh, I'm actually half human." It's like, oh god, it's hitting all the tropes. It's like, oh, okay, I'm into that. Sure, let's go.
Fucking
so then, of course,
Inuyasha form.
yeah, right. Like, okay, so yeah, she finds out his secrets. So now he's like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think I actually don't know. They don't say I love you, but they kind of, like, embrace the relationship real quick. That he's like, he understands that she's someone who actually understands it and is very empathetic. And they're like, okay, why not? So he decides the next day he's just gonna announce, like, I'm gonna spare this girl, and she's gonna be part of the court. Respect that. And of course, all the monsters of the court are like, oh shit, what the fuck are you doing? You're crazy. She's a human, etc. So this is story.
Bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? And, you know, it's clearly a story of, like, very, you know, apparent, like, fantasy racism in a way, I guess. Like, oh, and like this, the division between, like, two nations, etc. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and like, they go into the backstory too of, like, the reason why she was sent out to be sacrificed, was because her own parents, I think that they don't say that word, but, like, they imply she was actually adopted into this family to begin with. Like, this was not her biological blood related family, you know. And she thought she had a decent relationship with her older sister, etc. But then she found out one day overheard her parents talking, like, you know, they were scared, like, oh shit, what if they pick us to sacrifice our daughter? And they say something really scathing over, like, don't worry, that's why we adopted, you know, that's why we took in another daughter, so we don't have to sacrifice our actual daughter. And it was like, oh shit. So that's what happened there. It's kind of like the Iruma situation where it's like, oh no, are the humans the bad guys? Where he has shitty parents. But yeah, it's like, oh, okay. I'm kind of down for this. And it seems like in the next episode they're just having like a banquet, and they're like further introducing the girl to more monsters throughout the lands. And again, they're trying to learn how to accept like, oh, okay, and again, it was very funny. They were like this, like the way the monsters are like, she's like, her skin, like, where's her fur? Like, it was just very funny, like, insults to, like, against a human. And yeah, like, it seems like this direction of the show is, like, going towards more of, like, I wouldn't say, like, deep political intrigue at all, definitely not. I'm pretty sure it is going to be, like, surface level. They have to learn how to accept each other. But like, something about it feel like, compared to the Tale of Outcast, it does not feel contrived, like, I felt like was trying to do so many things. I think it's very much selling. Yeah, this is a romance story that's just a Beauty and the Beast situation, and trying to figure out like the dilemma of like the fact that like they know each other's secrets, and yeah, it's just a unifying like groups of two strong differences story. You know what I mean? It's nothing complex, but I felt like the way it was sold to me was like more compelling than the other series, and also it's like well done. It's well animated. And in fact, like I didn't realize it, and it just hit me. I remember seeing the images of the manga like in a Kinokuniya like a couple years ago. And I think the manga itself was actually done. I know the series is slated for 24 episodes, so I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't know if they're going to finish the series, but I just was struck by the art. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So yeah, this is something I'm like, I haven't really watched a shoujo thing in a long time. Like, Gordon Ramsay finally got some good fucking food. Like, a lot of them have just been bad or like not well done, right? Again, Tale of Outcast is an example of that. It just was not well done. So yeah, I think it's just something I'm like willing to sit around and see what else happens. I'm not expecting much from it. That said, yeah, this series has like moments in it that are certainly like, this is one of those series. Like I said, the Tale of Outcast felt like something like I would have enjoyed this when I was younger. This series also feels that way, but in a more like, I don't know what's the word, a more feral way, unfortunately. Like, there's so many moments, so many baited moments in this series that are like, this is gonna be someone's weird awakening. Like, for someone's gonna come out of the furry closet watching this series. Like, there's so much like tension, and like I was like, wow, like, and they don't even show anything, but I was like, oh my god. Like, first of all, his character design, he is very big. Like, as a beast, he's very big. She's very tiny. I'm like, oh no, that dynamic as this is already for someone out there. And second of all, there's kind of like a lot of like like, because they have to put on the front too that she's still like in jail, basically. Like, that's their whole thing. There's like a lot of like unintentional, I would say, BDSM imagery. I know that's like insane to say, but it's like, well, okay, this is someone's kink out there, far beyond of like monster fucking. It's monster fucking with like other things too. It's like, okay, this is someone out there will be very pleased with this series.
This is for somebody.
This is for somebodies.
Yeah.
And the monster designs are fun and cute, and like there's like these two little imps that follow her that are supposed to be her guards, but they're doing a bad job because they're like these two little orb imps. They're called Psy and Clops, which is fun. I love that. Stupid. I love that.
It's a little cute.
Yeah. The Chancellor is like this Anubis. For some reason, keeps a cloth over his snout, his nose. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if there's something that might be revealed about that, but I like that. Like, there's like a nice mixture of like different mythological characters from different cultures in there that are just kind of like, oh, they're just there, just hanging out without needing to explain them. Because they're like in a desert setting. The beasts are like in this desert, decrepit, dry setting, so that makes a lot of sense that there seems to be like a lot of ancient Egyptian monsters that they're like inspired by. And again, the girl's from some sort of fictional, it's always England. It's always some sort of fictional England or Wales. But yeah. Yeah, it's just like a cute series, I think, that's happening right now.
Thank you for the updates. Let's see here. How's about we each do one more thing to wrap this up? Is that all right, or is there more that y'all want to hit? I don't want to limit you, but also I don't, whatever y'all want to do.
I think for me, like, I could hit both of what I've got left in like the same breath, where.
Okay, I mean, yeah. If you wanna go ahead, hit it, and then we'll see how things go. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Maverick, go. You can go ahead.
No, mainly, currently, there are 2 Gundam shows airing. And the way that they are getting to what they want to, like, focus on, one, I'm having a lot more patience with than the other. And I think it really does come down to the pacing of it. So, which for Mercury, we are now, like, 16 episodes into the series, and it is starting to get some developments going in, but I'm also just, like, I'm not fully, like, off the show. I think I'm more so just waiting for stuff to really, like, grab me, basically. And, you know, I get people are... Like, there are a lot of things that work. I think that there are genuinely, like, pieces of the... Like, if this is someone's first Gundam, I get why they're excited. I could see why, like, so much is, like, gravitating towards them. Again, like, this is the show that is, like, marketed as a new take on Gundam, and I get it, but also, even just from, like, my experience of starting up the Universal Century stuff, like, it becomes really easier to see, like, what is sort of missing so far. And I feel like I always talk about this, or it's starting to become more of my, like, primary critique, is just sort of, like, this conception of war is just, like, a thing that happens, but without really getting into why it happens. Like, a lot of the work that Tomino puts into his series does stem from this idea that, like, people fight wars for reasons, and it's important to actually analyze those reasons, not just as good or bad, but to really just hone in on why specific ideologies get taken in and become the consensus for something that is so important that you'd be willing to, like, stake lives on it. And that itself develops into, like, the focus on these systemic aspects of militarism, imperialism, and so on is what also helps, like, start to develop the idea of the new type, because it really is this, like, there are a lot of easy allegories to make. Like, I know a lot of people look at, like, new types as a means for autism, or as a means for, like, transgenderism, and, like, those overall get to this idea of, like, just the inherent, like, gravity of the earth as it relates to just having to live each day with all of these, like, systemic status quo parts, and to be able to, like, live beyond that is truly something that would take a whole other kind of, like, existence, or, like, a whole other kind of, like, understanding beyond the earth to really get to. This is all stuff that, like, I still need to watch, like, to truly get into the rest of the Universal Century to get into. But with G-Witch, it's like, I quoted it where it's like, you know, one of the characters is, like, starting to make moves, and they're talking about how, like, the Earth will be exhausted by proxy wars, and I'm, like, kind of pissed off, because it's just like, who's fighting these wars? I don't need, like, the immediate faction, so to say, but at the same time, it's like, we've established that our setting is a school propped up by weapons manufacturers, but the weapons manufacturers themselves are not the, like, nation states that would be at stake for these wars. You know what I mean? Or, like, they haven't, like, clarified whether or not that is the intent, and these actually are the separate things. But then there's also that Earth space hostility, but in a way where it's just, like, so vague about it, because, again, OG Gundam, it's not just Earth versus space, it is the nation of Zeon against the Earth Federation. Not everyone in Earth is part of the Earth Federation. In fact, some would even say, hey, fuck the Federation. I'm just trying to live my peace. People on, like, the colonies probably say, hey, fuck Xeon. I'm trying to live my peace. But, again, it's the idea of not just, like, what are the two sides, but specifically, how are these forces opposing one another? And
they've made the act of war too, like, vague in this context in order to really feel as invested as you could, because it's more just like, oh man, you're supposed to be feeling like really, really horrible just because like people are talking about fighting a war,
and it's like
yeah, that's bad. But you're not, like, highlighting the personal, like, the personal horrors and the personal struggles and the personal, even, triumphs of what happens in a war. They have made it just this concept, and they're just like, man, isn't it bad that these characters are getting involved in this bad thing? And it's just like, I mean, yeah, but alright.
Yeah, and it's like, one, I think it's a thing that has just been around Modern Gundam for a while, specifically post Tomino Gundam, where, like, you know, I've learned that in Gundam Seed, one of the famous jokes is, his name is Nicole, he was 15, he loved to play the piano, over, like, one of the characters that gets fucking murked, that they, like, show the death scene of in, like, various clip shows. When I get to Seed, it's gonna be a bad time for me, but no, like, it's just so one of the recent episodes have the two of these, like, girls from Earth coming into the school for a bit, and then they just start going off the walls and just, like, start shooting up the school, and, like, it's again all part of, like, Shadik's whole plan to have a sense of power. Stuff that I'm not following too hard, but, like, one of the big things is, like, they kill a guy, and it's like this scene where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe someone has died at our school, but it's like, that's just some jobber. I didn't know who the fuck you killed. You didn't really give me a reason to care about who died. But
yeah, like, okay, like, yeah, something. I don't want to be too mean about it, but yeah, like, that was something that I was thinking about at the end of the first season. Like, here, I guess we could talk about, like, spoiler warning here, real quick. But yeah, at the end of the first season, like, yeah, Suletta does kill someone with the aerial to save Mirin, and there is this, like, you know, this moment of, like, Mirin freaking out and calling her a murderer. But I would think that it would be a bit more interesting if they tackled it in, like, this sense of, you know, like making the act of war, the act of terrorism, like, a personal thing, because, like, instead of it being like, oh man, this is, like, you know, like, how are we going to, like, figure our relationship out? Like, how are we going to handle our, like, mental, like, how are we going to handle the fact that, like, we were involved in this horrible thing, and, like, Suletta, you had to kill someone to save me, and we're tackling that, and instead it's more about, like, them trying to figure out if the aerial is a weapon, and it's like, yeah, it is, and, like, if Suletta uses it for good, then she's using it for good, like, you know, like any weapon, you can use any weapon for good or for evil, like, you know, I'd rather see, like, a more personal aspect of, like, seeing how their relationship will progress, you know, struggling with the fact that, you know, like, they blood has been drawn, and, like, they are involved in this scenario now, and yeah, I would just like to see how that shakes out, I guess. Again, I've only seen the first episode of the second season so far, so I will definitely watch more. But just from what you've said, just the way that it seems to have shaken out. It just feels like it doesn't want to it wants to play with concepts, not characters, and I think that is a bit weak compared to Gundam, the older Gundam shows, where like they have the concepts, but they are having these characters interact with the concepts in a very specific way that makes them memorable and makes those concepts feel fleshed out and personable and something that you can relate to, and it's not just, wow, isn't it bad when people make weapons? It's like, yeah.
It sure is bad when someone thinks about making a gun. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, it's just something where I definitely am towing the line where I don't want to say it's just bad, because I definitely don't think that. I think there's a lot of heart and dedication put out. Like, there's definitely a vision to what's going on, but at the same time, it's like, I think about that original conceit of like, oh yeah, Gundam is kind of seen as an old man show, but then like you'll see clips of Tomino where it's like, I knew that my series was going to have longevity because of the fact that I have like women as part of its fan base, and they are the people that are like really helping to solidify what this show can be about. He definitely took a minute to learn how to write women, I will say, but there's a reason why like a lot of his work is still like prescient and like really thoughtful in a way that not everything else really is like capable of, or again, like if we really have to come down on it, like Evangelion isn't really a subversion of like the mecha genre. It is more so a celebration of what has already been there. But when no one is actually talking about like the ancestry of it all, it's easy to just say like, oh man, we were just sitting so easy on stuff, and then the real shit came in. But it's like, no, the real shit was always here. You just have to like suck up 3x4 display capture or 4x3 displays. Like, watch an old anime, appreciate the cell work, you'll be fine. But again, G-Witch is going fine. The other Gundam show that's going on is Birdie Wing, and that has just been going. Oh my god.
It's been going. Capital G going.
So something that I think very early on was a possibility that people were like scared about. The idea that our main gals, Eve and Aoi, could be related. There's like enough.
And then
like,
they were
mystery.
sister. No.
there was the concern that could pop up. However, most recently, we have managed to avoid this because. So we're in a part of the story where like Aoi and Eve are finishing up like a doubles tournament for like her school in Japan, and as part of this, like Aoi is starting to like try to do more advanced golf, but her body is like reaching its limit, and so it's really taking a toll on her. To compensate, Eve is trying to do these like more robust shots, but then like literally the 2 times that she does these, she is having like memories resurface, and it's like the first one was oh my god, I know how to do this, and everyone's like, hey, that shot's familiar. It's kind of like Aoi's dad used to play. What's going on? And then the next episode after is like, hey, after I hit that hole-in-one, I just found, like, I remember now, my mom was this girl from Nafries, but my dad was this famous golfer. And then now he's like, but that's my dad. What? No. And then we find out that Aoi's mom actually had a child with the head coach of the Japan, of the school, who is also named Amuro Ray or whatever. Because again, it's Gundam. and the mom is named Sarah, but you could also just read that as Sayla. Like, this is just Sayla and Amuro having their golfer kid.
Oh, God.
It's so good. It's so good. But, the additional backstory being that, Eve's dad, Amuro, and, Sarah were, like, involved in this very complicated thing by her dad where it's like, I need you to hold down the fort because you'll sire the next generation of our golf conglomerate. And the tournament was going to decide who she would marry. Eve's dad wins, so he's supposed to marry her, but then he like goes off on like multiple tours and is like figuring out other stuff as he's building up his golf cred. Amuro and Sarah end up having Aoi, and in the middle of all this, you know, the implication comes up that Eve's dad ends up like accidentally like getting involved with a woman in Nafri's, but then has to come back to Japan. And so he's just like,
Oh boy.
all right, I'm gonna marry Sarah still. We're still gonna have this go on, but we're gonna raise Aoi like she was our kid. Meanwhile, in Nafri's, Eve is growing up by herself and is like, I don't know my dad, what's going on? And then like he comes back at one point to like try and make amends and starting to teach her golf. But then like this coincides with a fateful accident that kills Eve's parents because they were on a boat, like a boat cruise. A thunderstorm hits that cruise, and so this sets up what we learned in season 1, where she washes up on the like shore of Nefris with no memory. It's where she gets taken in by like the bar owner, and so like those things are interlocking. But now the like Sarah's realizing, oh god, that like this Eve girl, not only is she related to this past stuff, but she's ended up getting involved with the mafia, which I already had to deal with. I do not need her near my daughter. But then Aoi's like, listen, I love this woman. I need her to play in the solo tournament that we're doing so I can agonize over how better she is than me. It's so good. Golf is so back.
Golf's back. That's
In the preview for the next episode, we just know that she gets deported back to Nafris.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so peak.
I'm glad that you're having such a good time with the birds and in their wings.
It's all about the penis life.
I'm glad that's still the song.
It really is.
It's a good song.
They knew what they had to do.
They knew better not to change that.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they had to do. They were like, we got it in one. We can't drop this. It's all up here from here as long as we keep it. Let's see here. God, do I even have too much else? Oh, okay. All right. I also watched Otaku Elf. There's like nothing to talk about that fucking show. It's just, it exists. It's cute.
Again,
it's fine.
Really nice ending. I really appreciate the ending.
Nice show. Nice ending. It's fine. It's a normal person show. But guess what's back, folks? You've all been waiting for it. The Pokemon update. It's back. I've been watching Pokemon Horizons. I'm all caught up on that. The new Pokemon show. They have put Ash out to pasture, and so now they have brought in a new girl. So the show, it's about this new girl who is going to school, Pokemon school, and then she gets somehow wrapped up with these villains just called the Explorers because they want her amulet. She has like a fucking like necklace, like a magic necklace that I think is like keeping a legendary Pokemon inside of it. It's some turtle, and they have not elaborated on this turtle. There is going to be a turtle legendary in the second DLC that they have announced for Scarlet and Violet, but it is not the exact turtle. Like the turtle that she has is probably like its pre-evolution or something, which I don't know how that's going to shake out exactly. It's still so it's still so weird that we have legendaries that have like evolutions now, you know? Like that happened in Sun and Moon, but it's still weird. But also whatever, they could do whatever. And so now she's traveling with this roving gang of heroes called the rising. They're supposed to be the Volt Tacklers, but the Volticers, because the people who do the subtitles for this fucking show don't localize anything, and I'm sick of it. But I have to deal with it because they're the only people that do it. But it's good. The thing that I will say that I really, really appreciate about the show is that they have made it far more believable that this is a world where humans and Pokemon live together. Like something that bothered me about the old stuff, and something that even bothers me about the games at times, is that they don't really, like, they want to make this a believable world where, like, people are going out there and, like, having Pokemon partners and growing with them, and then don't have to go on a gym journey, or don't have to be contest coordinators or whatever, you know? Like, they could just have a Pokemon and live their life. You know? Like one of the first shots of this season, of this show, is a Machop helping people put their luggage on a bus. You know? It's just like little cute things like that sprinkle throughout the world that make it be like, you know what? This is real. This is a world that exists. That I could believe exists. That just it has a good it's a good feeling, you know? I like it quite a bit. They're gonna introduce the boy in the next episode because it's two characters, two heroes, and he definitely seems more of the he seems more Ash-like, I guess would be the way that I would put it. You know, very like, oh, I want to go battle and stuff, but I'm intrigued. I'm just excited to see something that is not just stuff that you could do in the games. Like, this is an adventure in the world of Pokemon. It is not the adventure in the world of Pokemon. It is not, okay, we're going to go battle. Okay, we're not going to go fucking, you know, do the same things you could do in the games. It is just, no, this is the world of Pokemon. We're having a good time in this world. We are showing something that you would not get just from playing the games. And that is cool, I think. That is my opinion on Pokemon. That is a Pokemon update. Thank you. Elvie. Mm-hmm. Do you have? I
sure,
think you have
yeah.
one more thing.
I can brief.
Please.
I can quickly talk about another thing I finished last season. It was called The Fire Hunter. And wait, I have to double check. For some reason I keep thinking it's the Yes, that's the fire. Fire Starter is a totally different thing, but it is the Fire Hunter. And I mentioned it before, where there's a lot of artistic choices I think they wanted to make with this series that don't do it comes off weird and jilted. So again, summarize the story again. The anime is written by Mamoru Oshii. It's based on a novel series. This is a world, some post-apocalyptic, a little dystopian tone to, with some, fantastical elements to it, where this, their fire is equated to magic and demons in a way, and demonology, and again, people are. It's a very obvious anti-pollution, climate change story. And humans have exploited that fire in a literal way, and so now there's a whole industry, there's a whole job and life path where these people called fire hunters have to kind of keep these fire fiends at bay because of how much humans have fucked up when it came to exploiting that resource, right? This girl sees a guy get killed, a fire hunter, and she's trying to do the honor of returning his dog and belongings back to his hometown. So again, we were then by the end of the series, yeah, she meets his son. She meets his son, which is this wealthy city boy, like we keep saying, in parallel and tandem. And they finally reunite. They're together now, and she's now getting intertwined with their family conflict. There's some sort of like political intrigue going on that seems to be bigger than like what her initial goal was. And then it gets like convoluted very quickly. So they meet these tree people. They start introducing all these other. We're already halfway through the series, and I'm like, what is going on here? Kind of similar thing going on with Tale Outcast. They just start throwing all this like world building when they should have done this in the beginning. Though oddly enough, I feel like Fire Hunter does it too much. Like again, I feel like they keep like doing too much exposition, but then it's not enough somehow. Like there's a lot again, it's a very obvious anti-pollution story, and there's like a lot of hand-holding over, wow, the humans have done this bad thing. This person got sick because she was working so it's like, again, it feels like this was an anime that was supposed to have been done like a couple of years ago, and it just didn't happen until now. But yeah, they meet these tree people. Yeah, again, they meet, there's like all these other ecosystems of the world they decide to introduce. Like there's these like different elements, if I think that's what we're getting at. Like we're meeting these people who like grew up in the trees, and like they're talking about all these other things where they're in conflict with the fire hunters. Like again, I'm being confused trying to explain this because I'm not quite sure what happened. and
Right.
yeah, they just end up running into all these other people, like this organization that's trying to like subdue this greater conspiracy over where the fire came from. I'm like, what the it's kind of similar to Fire Force, actually, now that I'm realizing it. Some of like what the mythology around fire itself as a literal manifestation or some sort of connection to like demons and hell, etc., which is interesting. So there's actually a magical quality to it. But then it just ends, and I'm like, what the, so this girl's now like in the city, and she's just there, and she got like interwoven into like this kind of like bizarre conflict between different like people, and then they're like, see you in season 2. I didn't even know there was supposed to be a season 2. Like, what do you? So I'm not, but I don't know. It left a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Not that bad, but it was very middling. It was just. It was kind of like a disappointing, I think, execution of like this story being much better. Like there's a lot of things that seem to lead that this is actually a sci-fi story. So again, back to aliens. Oh yeah, as we're recording this, it's actually Alien Day. So happy Alien Day, all.
Of course.
In relation to the movie, we were talking about this before we were recording. And really, it's a reference to the moon number in the original movie. Yeah, it just a lot of it collapsed and didn't make a lot of sense. Like, I wish the series stuck to more of like, kind of like, like Mushishi, kind of like Akinotabi, kind of like ambient tone of like, oh yeah, this is like a very episodic series where this girl is meeting, and it started off like that. The first half was like that, like this girl's just meeting all these different people in these different situations as she's trying to travel to the city. To bring this man's like belongings and to lay him to rest, essentially, to give him like a proper symbolic lay to rest, and then it just decides to open up into this bigger world of like that they just did not. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't think it was well executed, and it's a shame because again, like I think there's like a lot of artsy things to it that they were trying, but it comes out as contrived and probably a result of again pandemic production issues. Like there's a lot of shots of like stills. Like they're trying to emulate like comic panels kind of sliding in like a slideshow, but then it feels like these look like unfinished storyboards. Like this doesn't feel like an intentional effect. And again, a lot of awkward moments in the animation too, where they're doing, I don't know how to describe it, but like they're doing like a basket. The textures like are like shifting and awkwardly, like it's like, oh no, someone had to do. Yeah, there's a lot of things about it that seem rushed. And again, it's always a bummer when series are like this and they're so confident. Now we're gonna get a second season, and we're gonna explain everything better in the rest of the, you know what I mean? Like, and that's so annoying. Like, I don't think that's good writing, And again, this is the person who like did Ghost in the Shell. Like, what's like, and again, he did the anime adaptation of it. I'm sure, like, it's a different case of like adapting a manga into an anime and then a novel into an anime, like I know there's like the format is like different, right? And how to like handle different mediums like that to another medium is like a different every time, but it just doesn't feel like smart storytelling to me to like rely on like, oh, we're gonna have more episodes, so we're not gonna do better about like exposition within what we have to trust what we have now. So I don't know. It was just very off-putting to me. I don't think I'm gonna further continue this anime if the second season does come out. But yeah,
God, what a weird just concept and way to fucking make a show.
yeah. There's like there's 4 books, so. So if there's like I don't know, like they're gonna force like I wonder if like we're already 2 books in, but I don't know. Again, like my interest in it fizzled. I was just like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
All right. Well, we got through the shows, right? I think that's pretty much what we've got on the plate there. I think we did a good job there. We do have some questions though that we can get through hopefully quickly. This first one here, I'll just say, Anonymous asked, why did it take years for the smartphone isekai to get a second season, and frankly, who wanted it? I think I answered it previously by my incredulousness. I have no fucking idea on either front. I don't think anyone normal wanted this. I don't know why they made it so long after. It's bizarre, it's insane, it's awful, and I hate it. It's bad. And Cello Buster asked, because it is Alien Day, the movie Alien, what is the best anime about aliens? Do we have favorite anime?
There's
about
a lot
aliens?
of anime about aliens if you realize it. Like Dragon Ball is about
aliens.
Yeah, it's like
that's
that's the best one. I would say, if I'm not cheating, because that's the easy answer for me. Macross is pretty fun.
Sure.
Yeah, Macross revolves around like the relationship between aliens and humans, and over time unifying that. Even though, like, depending on which series in Macross, it's like some are more stupid than I don't know. Like, yeah, Macross is a lot of aliens. Aliens are a big point of the plot in all the Macross titles.
I'll say Space Patrol Luluco.
Yes! Oh, yeah, you're right.
That is a good one. I'd say if you want a show that is all about weird-ass aliens, you can't go wrong with Space Dandy.
That too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is a show that is just, hey, what if there were some fucked up aliens out there?
My other shout-out would be, like, Ultraman.
Yeah, sure. I'm looking at a list of anime that has aliens in it. A lot of these look like shit.
I believe it.
They have the Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars show on this, which is that. Come on.
I would sooner actually consider Symbionic Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oban Star Racers. Y'all remember that?
I remember.
Oh my god.
That's on here.
Does IW... God, what was it again? IWGX?
Mortal Grand Prix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would count.
Does it?
I guess.
I have no idea.
Well, I did just find out that there's apparently an anime called Blue Gender.
Yes.
Sure.
That might be an OVA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that name. Yeah.
I was going to say, why do I know this? Edited to remove more of its graphic violence, nudity, and sex scenes.
No, this is something that I definitely saw, like, in what used to be the VHS tape rental place.
Yeah.
At the like in my childhood home, and like the first place my parents rented that I was there, and like it was like near, or it was like mixed in with like family friendly cartoon stuff, and like once in a while you see the covers of like this looks like a hentai. Like, why is this? And there was a porn section where I think there was hentai there that's covered by a curtain, which is so funny. But there, you may well see stuff like this that's mixed in with what the family-friendly section. It's like, oh.
A lot of stuff that looks yonic, a lot of...
So the opposite of H.R. Geiger, speaking of Alien. Sailor Moon is arguably, that's a reach, but arguably an alien show.
Kinda, yeah.
Arguably, like, they're from the, like, her incarnation of being on the moon and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot, again, it's space themed. It's heavily astrological and space themed. Oh yeah, Gantz is an alien anime. Though it's something I don't.
Gantz is, yeah.
I don't know if I would recommend. I like. It depends on what you're seeking. I've like only seen the anime version. I know the manga goes a completely different direction.
I know Nia Under 7 is about aliens. I have not watched it. But seems good. It's like aliens, but then also the reality of having to figure out your life in your mid-20s.
Oh, yeah, in Yurusei Yatsura, of course.
Urusei Yatsura, yeah.
Right.
She is an invader.
the-
She is an alien. Yeah.
She is the alien.
Yeah, like one of the anime aliens. That is true.
That's right.
God, you know what? I kind of want to watch Space Dandy again, though. Man,
If
I
it
got
hits.
that shit on Blu-ray though. On Blu-ray though. Oh, you know what else I got on Blu-ray that also counts? Outlaw Star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tenchi Muyo.
I mean, are there aliens in that?
Riko is like not. Yeah. She
Alright,
she is
I mean-
like an alien. It's
Sure.
weird because like the
Alien, demon, whatever.
Ryoko. There we go.
Sure.
It's weird because like the continuities between like the OVA and then like the main anime series, but no, like for the most part, like you usually get to space in an iteration of Tenchi. But then yeah, Ryoko is semi-reformed space pirate.
There you go. All right. Well, I think that ought to do it. Thank you so much for listening, folks. Just a reminder, if you are joining us in 2 weeks for our monthly program, we are watching Boogie Pop Phantom. That is the show that Rose picked. So make sure that you do your homework, watch it, and send us your opinions or comments or whatever the else to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask, or the ask box that will be what it is when the new site is launched. It's so awkward. I'm so sorry. Just here, join our Discord. Make sure you join our Discord server, thegamezone.zone, or follow us on Twitter at VGChooChoo, because even when we change the name, you will still be in there, so you will see the links to stuff. You will be able to continue, or if you're on Tumblr, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com, just follow it. The name will change, but you will still be following it, so you will still have access to the ask box, to us. So there you go. I'll just tell you to follow the stuff. But if you want to send in your questions, your comments, etc. about Boogie Pop Phantom or whatever else, go ahead and send it there. Follow us there. Our Patreon, patreon.com/VGCC. That might change as well. But hey, if you get on there, you get this early, and you'll be supporting the new stuff that's coming to the site once it relaunches by the time you hear this. God, it's such a weird time.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like worried or anything. It's just like I just want to be able to say this is what it is called. Go to the website. Thank you. But we have to create buzz. We have to make people excited. You know how it is. Anything that either of you want to shout out before we completely wrap up?
For me, no, not in particular.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never?
nah. My regular plugs are in the main podcast here. I take it easy.
I respect it. I respect it. Well, that'll be all, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Unlimited Railworks. We're not changing the name for this. This is fine. Unlimited Railworks is fine. We're keeping it. There you go. So, yeah, we will be back with another episode of Unlimited Railworks. That I can assure you. Have a good one, folks.
無色の自分に気づいて締め付けて